Hello and welcome in, friends, to Sports from the Couch here on Mercado Airwaves. I'm your host, Mike Mercado, and we want to thank you so much for making us a part of your day. And it is time to make our NFL Week 12 confidence picks here on Sports from the Couch. Thank you all so much. Make sure you guys follow us all over social media. I'm on Twitter at Mike M Media, on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. You can follow the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Our pop culture show is on Twitter at Good Brothers Pod, and our true crime show is on Instagram at Murder, Mysteries, and More. Make sure you like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. Thank you for watching the video of us here making our picks on CBS.com as we make our confidence picks and try to sound all smart. And you can watch those videos on YouTube.com/Mike Mercado2333 or searching Mercado Airwaves Network and subscribing to us right there. Also on Facebook. And of course, you could download the podcast version of our picks along with our interviews and all the shows we have here on the network, wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. And we have some awesome new tiers if you want to support us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves. But before we get into our Week 12 picks, I wanted to talk a little bit of what happened on Sunday Night Football this past weekend to end Week 11's Sunday slate of games. And it was the Bears falling to 4-6, losing to the Rams 7-17. They move on to 6-4. Trying to keep up in that tight division of the NFC West. And at the end, we saw what happened with Mitchell Trubisky, who was benched for a hip pointer, but the Bears PR didn't say anything to Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. And now we saw what ends up happening. And everybody's wondering if he's going to get benched. If he was benched, what does this mean moving forward? And they were very coy all week. And here in Chicago, we're recording this on Thursday, he was at the meeting the media this past week, which usually means they are going to play. He didn't show up on the injury report today on Twitter, so I'm assuming he's going to play against the Giants. And more than anything, the offense looks broke. And it's looked broke all season. And it's exactly what I said when they were in training camp during OTAs. This was a 7-9 or 9-7 team. They never addressed any of the issues, and they blamed everything and put all the attention on Cody Parkey. But this team never developed. The offense never gelled. Mitchell Trubisky never took the next step. And it doesn't help when you have Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson who are showing glimpses and have played like MVPs. One has become one. We're seeing what Lamar Jackson is doing in Baltimore. It's out there. Quarterbacks are out there to do that. They're making schemes that are for the quarterback you drafted. Has Matt Nagy done that? Has Matt Nagy put this offense in a proper place? Has he done everything possible to make the team better? We obviously know where the talent stands, and we know that this team has been injured this season, which was a big point of last year being so successful. They were healthy. And it's the first thing most of us mentioned that were pessimistic about this season coming up, that in the NFL, it's hard to repeat. And more than anything, it's hard to repeat health, especially in such a violent sport. And this team has been riddled with it. And it's 12 games. This is week 12. Khalil Mack has not been the impact player he was last year. That hurts a lot. They haven't gotten production from the tight end position. That hurts a lot. Other than Allen Robinson, the wide receiving crew hasn't helped Mitchell Trubisky. But has Trubisky put them in a good position to be in there? And the offensive line would have murdered any other quarterback as well. Would have gotten them killed. So it's a mess. And this game was all about that. And we could talk about play calling, that RPO when you have a quarterback that's hurt. This is a systemic problem with the entire organization. I don't know where you start to fix it. What I do know is that it's hard to move on from a number 2 overall pick in the first round quarterback when your GM went all in on him. And that's what worries me a little bit about whether this team is going to move forward, even though in the NFL, there's a quick turnaround. So that's where I'm at when it comes to this team right now. I think the matchup against the Giants, they should win. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a fool's gold. And yeah, it would be nice to have beaten the Rams on Sunday Night Football and then beaten the Giants. Get to 6-6 and wait for Thanksgiving. Anything can happen at that point. Try to get above 500. It's not like Green Bay are world beaters right now. It's not like Minnesota's blowing people out of the water. They're having their own injury issues. It's frustrating. Frustrating, again, if this was a multi-billion-dollar corporation that did cell phones or cars or any type of business like that, we'd be wanting to know, where's the GM? Where's the face of this organization? Where is Ryan Pace? I haven't seen him, and there will be a day where he has to face the media. We'll see what happens. It's not looking good, though. It's not looking good. But that was week 11. It is now time to move on to week 12. If you're new to us, first of all, thank you for joining us. What we like to do is we go through the matchups, we make our picks, and then we'll go ahead and put the confidence points on them. And before we head out, we give you the rundown of the picks we've made for the week. And we start off with Thursday Night Football tonight, and we have the Colts taking on Houston. You have to go Houston, right? Like, at some point, Houston has to win the games they're supposed to. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the standings just so we have an idea. So, look at this, a matchup of 6 and 4 teams. This is for the lead of the division. This is going to be actually a great matchup for Thursday night, and it looks like the Colts won't have T.Y. Hilton. They won't have Marlon Mack. Jacoby Brissett's coming back from injury. I think Houston just needs to win this game, and I think there's more firepower on that offense. I'll go with Houston in that matchup. The Miami Dolphins versus the Cleveland Browns. I have to go Cleveland in this matchup. Miami is definitely tanking, quote unquote, as much as you can in the NFL. And Cleveland can and will let you be in a game. But I feel like Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb are just going to run all day all over Miami. And we'll see if Odell or Jarvis Landry get the love from Baker Mayfield. I'll go with Cleveland in that matchup. We have the Lions against Washington. I have not heard whether it's going to be Driscoll or if it's Stafford. Driscoll's held the offense down okay. Obviously, I think the offense would be way better with Matthew Stafford. And that's, man, we're seeing with Phillip Rivers, what happened to him on Monday night against the Chiefs. That's another quarterback. Phillip Rivers and Matthew Stafford, two guys who all the talent in the world. We've seen Phillip Rivers in some big moments, and man, I wonder when it's all said and done where they're going to be left when it comes to history, Hall of Fame, how people are going to remember two really talented quarterbacks. But Detroit, Washington, I'm going to go with Detroit in this matchup. Washington's just a bad team, and Detroit is good enough to beat bad teams like Washington. We have the Broncos taking on Buffalo. Buffalo not going anywhere. And if you look back in the AFC, let's take a look at the AFC East. We have a 9-1 Patriots team ahead of the 7-3 Bills, and obviously a garbage division. We've talked about my theory of why New England's been so dominant for a decade when you're playing teams like that. But I believe Buffalo will win this game. They're a good defense. Josh Allen with Devin Singletary and Frank Gore will run the ball all day. Josh Brown will be open. It's not like Denver, at least with Chris Harris, which might allow some other guys to get open. So I think Buffalo's just a better team, and it's at Buffalo, so they don't have even the mile-high, quote-unquote, advantage for Denver. I'll go with the Bills in this matchup. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, I personally have so much hatred towards Jameis Winston before what happened this past week, but even now, Mike Evans is such a great wide receiver who just has never had consistent quarterbacking. I mean, imagine what Mike Evans can do if he had Tom Brady or if he had somebody like Drew Brees. I mean, he would be the best wide receiver in the league, in my opinion. And here's the thing, though. The ceiling for Jameis Winston is so high. It's one of those rare risk rewards where he really can throw 4 touchdowns in one game and throw 6 interceptions in the next. And against Atlanta, who has kind of come along the last few weeks, especially when their head coach was on the chopping block. This is an interesting matchup. Atlanta's a bad team. Tampa Bay is a bad team. It's in the Dome. I'm going to go Tampa Bay. I'm going to go off the rails a little bit. I think most people think it's Atlanta. This is the kind of week that when you think you have the answer, they change the question. I'll go Tampa Bay in this matchup. Shout out to Roddy Piper. We have the Seahawks taking on the Eagles, and we jump to see how that's looking in the NFC. You have the 5-5 Eagles and the 8-2 Seahawks. So the Seahawks are going to try to take advantage of the fact that the 49ers are playing the Packers. And that's a big thing for the conference in general to see home field advantage. But you have Philadelphia who's trying and fighting and clawing to get into a playoff position. I'm going to go with Seattle in this matchup. This is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the tight ends for Philadelphia are going to go off. I think Russell Wilson's going to go off. I'm going to go with Seattle in this matchup, but damn, this is going to be a fun game to watch on Sunday. We have the Panthers and the Saints. Kyle Allen isn't that good of a quarterback. They miss Cam Newton. Christian McCaffrey is arguably in the MVP candidacy. I go with New Orleans in this matchup. They're going to look a little bit better. They're going to start getting right. And this is a team, again, one of these teams that needs to take advantage of being able to win, even though it's a division game at home, to make sure they have home field advantage. This is a team that is 8-2. They're right in there. They're right in there. This would be a big win if they can get it. And I also wanted to introduce this. We haven't done this yet, but this is for all you awesome people just in time. There you go. Finishing. We're halfway through the picks, but we have the Steelers against the Bengals. The Bengals looking to try to get a win. You have the Steelers coming off of what happened with that Browns game. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh in this matchup. I don't think either one of these two teams is all that good to begin with, but this would be a win for Pittsburgh, and they'll get, quote-unquote, get right. And again, this is one of those fool's gold games, if you ask me. We have the Raiders taking on the Jets. The Raiders, one of the surprise teams in the NFL. There's always one every single season. And we have the Jets, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr matchup. I'm going to go with Oakland in this game. You have the Giants and the Bears. If you missed it, we talked all about last week's matchup of our beloved Bears. But with that all being said, I think without a shadow of doubt, Chicago is the better team than the Giants, and heads will roll if they lose to New York. I'm going to go with the Bears. We have the Jaguars taking on the Titans, and again, one of these interesting divisional matchups. And if we look in the AFC South, the 5-5 Titans, the 4-6 Jaguars, and of course, the Titans will have AI in this game after Thursday night, because they would be in the playoff push. Even everything that has happened between Ryan Tannehill and Marcus Mariota, this is a team that feels they would be right in it. And of course, the Jaguars moving to Nick Foles. Can there be a little bit of that Philadelphia magic in there? I'm going to go with the Jaguars winning this game. Leonard Fournette is going to go off. DJ Shark's going to go off. Nick Foles is going to go for 3 touchdowns. I'll go with the Jaguars in Tennessee. Cowboys, New England, a dream Super Bowl for many of the executives of the NFL. I think you will see New England win this game. If not, there will be hell to pay, because a lot of people are getting worried about this offense. I don't know if Dallas is a legit team, but I do know that a lot of people hope this is a matchup come February. I'm going to go with the Patriots on this Sunday night tilt. But the real Sunday night football, Green Bay Packers, San Francisco 49ers, a traditional matchup in the West Coast. I think Green Bay wins this game. These two teams are very similar, gunslinging quarterbacks with very finesse. The difference is one of them is Aaron freaking Rodgers, one of the greatest to ever do it. Prime time football is when he was born to shine. I hate admitting it, especially being a Bears fan, but San Francisco's defense is really nice, but this is one of those games where it feels like Aaron Rodgers goes off, Green Bay starts getting right and starts putting them in a position to make a run in the NFC. I'm going with Green Bay on Sunday Night Football. And on Monday night, another huge matchup. The Baltimore Ravens, the LA Rams, Lamar Jackson trying to make a stance as MVP. The Rams trying to keep up in the NFC West. I got Baltimore in this matchup. I think Lamar Jackson stamps the MVP in this game with a huge Monday Night Football spotlight game in the City of Stars in Los Angeles. I have the Ravens over the Rams. So now, it is now time to put the points on them. Who do we have confidence in this week? A lot of fun matchups, a lot of crazy tilts. So as we look through here, and it's a lot of interesting matchups. I don't think there's many that you could put a lot of confidence in. This will for sure happen. So I'm going to put, just strictly off of firepower, I'm going to put 14 on the Saints. I will put 13 on Houston, even on Thursday night. I will put, as we look around a little bit, I'm willing to see and to say that Bill Belichick puts down Ezekiel and Amari Cooper. They do have some weapons, but I'll put 12 on New England. If you lose with New England, you lose with New England. That's always been my theory. You can't be mad about that. I'll put some points on Green Bay, too. I know a lot of percentages are going half and half, but I think Green Bay is just a better team, and I think Aaron Rodgers shows out in those games. We keep looking through as we look around. I do think Baltimore's a way better team than the Rams. Maybe Hollywood Brown goes off in Hollywood. So we'll put 10 on them. You know, I'll go a little bit higher than that. There we go. And of course, we'll go over our final picks before we head out of here. All right. And I'm willing to put a few points on the Bears. Here's the thing, though. This is the same team that lost to the Giants last year, right? So it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility that they just don't show up in this game. At least this time it is in Chicago. Which I don't know if it's the best team because there will be booing in that stadium. Get some coffee as we go through. Buffalo, I'm willing to put some points on. I'll put Buffalo with 7. All right, so the real question is, who don't I want to put points on? I really don't want to put points on Tampa over Atlanta, so I'll drop them. I really don't want to put points on Jacksonville. I really don't want to put points on... Okay, you know what? I'm pretty good. I like this list right here. I really don't want to put points on Cleveland, actually. So, yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this list. So, we start off. We put 14 points on the Saints over the Panthers. We have 13 points on the Texans over the Colts. We have 12 points on Baltimore over the Rams. 11 points on the Patriots beating the Cowboys. 10 confidence points on the Packers over the 49ers. 9 on the Lions beating Washington. 8 confidence points on the Bears beating the Giants in Chicago. 7 points on Buffalo over Denver. 6 points on the Steelers beating Cincinnati. 5 points on the Browns beating the Dolphins. 4 confidence points on the Seahawks beating the Eagles. 3 confidence points on the Raiders beating the Jets. 2 on Jacksonville over Tennessee. And 1 on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Atlanta Falcons. Thank you all so much for joining us here on Sports from the Couch on Mercado Airwaves for our NFL Week 12 Confidence Picks. I'm your host, Mike Mercado. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Mike M Media, and on Instagram at Mike Mercado Media. You can follow the network on Twitter at Mercado Airwaves. Our pop culture show has a Twitter handle at Good Brothers Pod, and our true crime show is on Instagram at Murder, Mysteries, and More. You can like us on Facebook at Mercado Airwaves. You can watch these videos as we make our confidence picks on Facebook, as well as youtube.com/Mike Mercado 2333, or search up Mercado Airwaves Network and you can subscribe to us right there. Listen to the podcast version of the NFL Confidence Picks along with all our shows and interviews wherever you get your favorite podcasts at Mercado Airwaves. And if you would like to support the show, find us at patreon.com/Mercado Airwaves, where you can find early access to our interviews with athletes and celebrities before anyone else. Thank you all so much. Enjoy Week 12 of the NFL. You've been listening to Mike Mercado on Sports from the Couch on the Mercado Airwaves Network.